All right, welcome back to ASU Entrepreneurial Mindset 101 in collaboration with our partners at Keen. So just want to continue the narrative here, I think, again, to reinforce why this is so powerful, entrepreneurial mindset coupled with your engineering skill set. Before we can really start to practice this in earnest, at least for me, it helps to really know the backstory of how this came to be. So hopefully this is helpful to you. If not, just fast forward. Okay, so here we go. So we met our key collaborators at Keen, the Kern Engineering Entrepreneurial Network, and that's part of the Kern Family Foundation. And here's how we got integrated from Arizona State's perspective. So hopefully you know who this gentleman is. This is President Michael Crow. He's a big advocate of the entrepreneurial mindset, not only at the institution writ large, but certainly within engineering. And I know this because back in 2002, President Crow unveiled the 8 design imperatives of the new American University. I apologize for cutting off the list, but I really love showing the 8 this way because in the top 3, you can see there, number 3 is value entrepreneurship. So this was introduced to the entire institution as way back as 2002. And a lot of people that saw the word entrepreneurship as part of their institution's design imperatives were a little taken aback, if I remember correctly. I joined ASU in 2004, and even then in 2004, people were still scratching their heads over as to why entrepreneurship, a traditional business discipline, was being expected across the entire institution for folks in the humanities and social behavioral sciences and journalism and nursing and health, and the list goes on and on and on as to some of these folks, faculty and students, were both saying, shouldn't entrepreneurship go live over in the business school where it belongs? And in fact, that is the wrong approach. And we've actually seen this bear fruit now over the past 15 years to be able to point to legitimate outcomes. And the answer to that question is no. Entrepreneurship lives horizontally across all of the academic disciplines at ASU and does so for a very strong reason. The reason being, entrepreneurship by our definition is to solve for X, to make the world a better place. To value entrepreneurship as a methodology to make the world better rather than a business discipline to make money or to engage in commerce or capitalism or however you want to segment that as business. Of course, entrepreneurship feeds into business creation and business sustainability, but at the very root of entrepreneurship and value creation is you, the researcher. So regardless of your discipline, you can engage in basic research, aka being curious, making connections within a literature review or by doing a Google search, and then ultimately, as a practitioner of any sort, creating value. So if you've created valuable material in your lab or in your garage or in your area of study, how can we help to make that innovation impactful within society and within the economy? So it's what we've spent a lot of time doing here at ASU over the past 15 years is to really redefine what entrepreneurship means as an institution. So my working definition of this is entrepreneurship equals solve for X. So as an engineering faculty or as an engineering student, again, don't be afraid to really fully grasp this concept of being entrepreneurial. You do not have to change your major. You do not have to go over and poke around in the business school. You do not have to take a specific set of courses to adopt an entrepreneurial mindset. This is intrinsic among all of us as members of this community of practice. It's really no different than sustainability or in some cases ethics. So when we look at horizontal pillars of the university, sustainability, entrepreneurship, ethics, those are all key ways that we integrate those aspects of learning outcomes and impact into our daily work as scholars and as practitioners. So step 1 in developing an entrepreneurial mindset, don't be afraid of the old French word entrepreneurship. It belongs in your lap. You have everything you need right now to be an entrepreneurial thinker and to be entrepreneurial minded and to ultimately change the world for the better through your ability to be curious, make connections, and create value. So we'll talk more about that soon. So it actually took Michael Crow to be very intimately involved with reassuring the Kern Family Foundation and Mr. Kern himself that ASU is very well positioned as a research institution, a very large one, to really have a massive return on the foundation's investment in ASU. So when this article came out in 2016, we were very excited to continue the relationship that myself and my colleagues had started with the foundation the year prior, and in some cases a couple of years prior to that, engaging with this amazing organization out of Wisconsin. So we were thrilled to finally get some grease for our wheels. Basically, we got a grant, and that just poured fuel on the fire that had started way back in 2002 with those design imperatives of the new American University. So we're thrilled to have Keene as a sponsor in this amazing work that we know is so important, and quite likely we'd be doing with or without their support, but it's so much better, it's so much more efficacious with them involved. Right out of the gate, once we had that grant funding in place, the PI team was formed. I'll introduce you to the PIs here. That's principal investigator for those of you that are outside the fringes of academia. So we started to put together a plan of attack. How are we going to leverage this investment from the Family Foundation to really move the needle on coupling what we already can do very well, teaching the engineering skill set, with incorporating a brand new set of outcomes around the entrepreneurial mindset. So this document you're seeing is one of the earliest versions of a plan that the principal investigators put together, and the Kern Family Foundation was very excited to see this put into action at full scale at a Research One institution here at ASU. So this is Dr. M McKenna. She's one of the co-PIs on the Kern grant that we manage here at ASU. We have a whole team whom you'll meet later in this workshop. But Anne was certainly one of the early champions as an engineering educator, really wrapping her arms around how can this particular pedagogy or framework or set of tools really help us move the needle and move our engineering students into the next phase of learning, to be a master learner in this constantly changing world. So kudos to Anne McKenna. Hopefully you have a chance to meet her if you don't know her already. She's one of the champions of this concept here at ASU, and she's a key architect of this whole process here within our institution. One of the early products that was created by Anne and her research team was basically a set of outcomes and both behavioral and mindset being mapped onto what we hopefully know are the 3 C's of the entrepreneurial mindset. I've said them a couple times so far. The assumption is if you're watching this workshop, you've already been exposed to the entrepreneurial mindset just a little bit, either through EM90 on the Keene website or through some other mechanism on the ASU Entrepreneurship and Innovation website or other means. But we're not going to belabor the definitions of curiosity, connections, and creating value. But you can see here we've developed tools very early on at ASU to share with the rest of the network and really to level set how do we measure success, both from a student aspect and also from a teaching aspect and a co-curricular engagement aspect. So very proud to be a part of this research, and we're very early days with all of this. So it's going to be very exciting to see where documents like this, and they already have, begin to evolve and to blossom across the entire US, if not around the world. This is Dr. J Califf. He's the Vice Dean of Engineering. If you don't know him, you should. He's an amazing guy. He leads academic and student affairs across all 6 schools of engineering. So Dr. Califf and Dr. McKenna are the 2 co-PIs, along with some other PIs within biomedical engineering and within the Polytechnic School. So these 2 are really our champions when it comes to interfacing with the sponsors at a national level. And so as you can see here, Jim's been invited to speak, as has Anne, with the entire network. Jim's sharing his lessons learned from EtoCamp. I know many of you have participated in E2, so continue to do so, because we've actually integrated entrepreneurial mindset activities and learning outcomes directly into that first year freshman experience, pre-freshman experience, I should say. So Jim, as you know, is an amazing advocate for all things curricular and co-curricular advancement and innovation. So no better people than Anne and Jim to really drive this initiative forward under the leadership of course, Dr. Kyle Squires, our dean. So this is an all-in opportunity for those of us that are on the baseline level on the ground, making things happen, putting things into play, but also for our leadership to say, you know what? We have this really unique moment in time to change the world. And so what we're here to do is to invite you to be part of this movement. You cannot make something work with just a handful of people in a little lab. or in a garage or anywhere else. So we are trying to create our own network within ASU. And so if you're a student or a faculty member watching this, we want you to join this movement of evangelizing the entrepreneurial mindset being coupled with what we already have under wraps, that engineering skill set, and all 30 plus of our majors that we offer, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. So this is a snapshot of our Kern grant page. So this one particularly is focused on professors. We're seeking out folks to apply for mini grants to describe how you might drop in the entrepreneurial mindset learning outcomes into your existing engineering courses. But you'll hear throughout this workshop that we also have opportunities for students to engage in mini grant activity and to really become thought leaders of how can we iterate upon what's already been started at the Kern Family Foundation and here at ASU over the past decade plus, and how do we continue to make this work for those students that are coming to us brand new and those faculty who have been teaching essentially the same learning outcomes for the past few years. So no offense to those really impactful educators. And if you look at this list of faculty whom we already have engaged, you're going to be really impressed to see who have bought into this mindset approach and know firsthand how important it is to the future of our economy and our society. So please do check us out, not only on the Fulton Schools of Engineering, Entrepreneurship and Innovation website, but also go check us out on the Keen Network website. So it's engineeringunleashed.com, and you'll see our ASU profile. And we're going to talk in the next section of this workshop about how you can get involved with contributing your thought leadership to entrepreneurial mindset at ASU. Let's do it.